Today I want to talk about a question that we get all the time. Every time we send a quote that has a skylight replacement, we get the question, do we really need to replace our skylights at this time? All right, Chicago, I'm Jim with Anchor Point Roofing. Welcome back to another edition of our YouTube channel where we talk about all things roof related. Whether you're a homeowner looking for a roof repair or a contractor looking for the best materials, you've come to the right place. You need a source that you can trust, and Anchor Point Roofing's YouTube is the place to get it done. Today I want to talk about a question that we get all the time. Every time we send a quote that has a skylight replacement, we get the question, do we really need to replace our skylights at this time? Most of the time this question is on a pitched or shingle roof where you've got Velux skylights. So I'm going to talk a little bit about their process, what they have going on, and when you should and shouldn't consider replacing your skylights. I want to start by saying Velux is an awesome company. Charles Otis is like the regional sales rep, amazing guy. Their customer service is like second to none. We've had very few issues, but when we do have a minor issue, Velux shows up with guns blazing. I mean, they're ready to rock. Very responsive, which gives me a lot of confidence when selling their product and putting it on a homeowner's roof. Should give you the same. So let's get started. We'll talk about it. Not too long of a video here. Velux skylights. Go on the roof. The question we get is to replace or not. It's a very common question. I want to break it down here for you. The skylights can obviously be an expensive part of the roof. We understand that it adds up. It adds a lot to the replacement cost of a shingled roof. Some people want to keep them. Some understand. When is it necessary and when can you keep them? So there's a few guidelines, a few things I want to talk about. Their products any product made prior to 2010 do fall out of today's warranties. So Velux provides a 10-year warranty on almost all their skylights. They provide a 20-year on like the glass and things like that, but typically you don't see that fail. Accessory support for anything on 2010 is pretty much gone. You really can't find parts for anything older than that. As of the making here, I think we're in 2025, so we're already 15 years past that. And one more item, as of January 2025, Velux required everyone who's purchasing a new skylight to have a solar blind installed inside. You do get a little solar credit. I think that expires at the end of the year. But Velux reasoning, and the reason they said they did this was because they did a survey and almost all homeowners wanted it anyway. So if you're buying a new skylight from Velux, you're pretty much going to get a solar blind in it, whether you want it or not. It has increased the prices by almost $500, so it makes it even a little bit stickier and a little bit tougher of a sale. But the blinds work great. Again, we haven't had too many issues with them. So bottom line, I think the thing you need to know is if the skylights are 10 years or older, it's really best to have it replaced. Sometimes homeowners don't do it in conjunction with the roof. So the average roof that we replace is probably 18 to 25 years old. And most of the time, the skylights were installed at the exact same time. So you keep that warranty and the new roof and the skylights kind of at the same time, kind of in conjunction. Keeping the old skylights can lead to leaks later and expensive issues down the road. I understand, I'm a consumer too with a lot of things. It's a big ticket item to have those. Sometimes people just don't want to replace them, but if it's over 10 years and out of the 10-year warranty that Velux provides, it's really a good idea to do. Let's say you decide not to keep it. Let's say you decide not to replace them. You want to keep the old skylights, roll the dice a little bit. We can't provide a warranty on around the skylights or the skylights itself. I think that makes sense to most people, but it can be frustrating for everyone. We put a new roof on, it's been 2 years, and now all of a sudden the skylight's leaking. Of course, we get the call. We want to help out. We don't mind getting that call. But if we didn't replace the skylights and now it's leaking, it is going to have to require a service fee to get out there. If it's a tall, steep roof, it could be even, a little bit more expensive of a service fee, depending on the logistics. And it's frustrating for us too. We don't want to upset customer and, you put a new roof on and then 2 years later you've got a leak. We don't want that either, as well as the homeowner. This is something I talk to homeowners a lot about. Usually this is an email or a conversation, but it is kind of like getting a brand new car. but you want to have like old tires on it still. It just doesn't make sense. Will it work and function? Yeah, for a little while, but you're eventually going to have a flat/leak, and then it's going to be an issue. It's obviously much more cost effective to get them done when the roof is replaced. You know, allow us to use our economies of scale. We're there. We've got all the shingles there, the ladders, the scaffolding set up, the safety harnesses. To swap them out then is much more cost effective, obviously, and doing it a la carte, one at a time. It almost doubles the price. We don't look to upsell, and if you're pushing back and you say, man, we really don't want to replace the skylights, we're not going to push it. We're just going to make you aware of the risks. We want you to know what could happen in the future and that it could cost more money, but we understand not everyone has the money to throw at the roof and the skylights, but it is recommended if they're over 10 years old. Here, I'm backing up a little bit with what I said. We will have to charge a trip charge to come and troubleshoot it. Sometimes you can just caulk it, but it's frustrating. Here it is. You can almost cost double to install it later. Imagine, you know, the guys have everything set up on the roof. It's fairly easy to swap it out at that point because you've got all the guys there. You want to come back and do one a la carte, it's going to be much more expensive. And again, frustrating for everyone involved. I skipped number 3 here. We are now removing more shingles. So we've put on brand new, typically Malarkey shingles. They seal up really well. They are newly installed around the skylight. If you have a new one, they've got a new Velux flashing kit. They're good. But now, if you've got an old one and you need to take it out, now we're taking all the new shingles out that we've put on. It just ends up being a mess and much more, you know, complicated for everyone. And then we're just as frustrated as the homeowner. I get it, you know. Nobody wants that. What are some of the signs that they should be replaced? A lot of times it's obvious. If the homeowner's looking up and the skylight's leaking, obviously it's gonna need to be replaced. But there are a few times where it's like in between. You can see condensation. Sometimes the seal will break on the old ones and you'll see it like fogged over. The seal is broken around the perimeter again. If you go up there on the roof and you take a look, and we always take a lot of pictures for our homeowners so they can see it as well. If the skylight's been caulked 3 times or 4 times, you can tell there's different colors of caulk on it and has been doctored. Definitely time, you know, that's a sign that it's probably leaked previously. And then interior drywall or trim stains you can see. You can mostly see that from the inside as a homeowner, but also when we get on the roof, we have a little bit of a different view inside the glass. So there's a couple quick examples. Here's Paul, he loves this blue pen, but you can see this one's been caulked. The frame has been caulked here, and then if you can see, this is the view that we get a little bit more. You can see the wood has been compromised. So this one's been leaking for a while. Homeowner sees that picture and they're like, yeah, let's not keep this and try to doctor this up. Here's another one. You can see the cladding here has come off so much and you've got huge amount of clear silicone. Again, kind of an obvious one, but these are the signs we look for before we recommend replacing it. Here's another one. You can see a little bit of, if you can see these streaks, a little bit of condensation inside. This is me up here in the winter taking some pictures of it. This was an operable one, so this one opened and closed at one point, but again, it really needed to be replaced. And here's some more damage. I don't know if you can see that clearly, but you can see damage to the wood on the inside. We've got a good view of it here if you're on top, and you can see there's just lots of water stains and really messy. Leave it up to us. We're going to recommend the best thing for your home. We're not trying to upsell. We're not trying to say, yeah, let's throw that in so we can make more money on it. We want to do the right thing, and we want you to have a safe, dry home. And final thoughts and summary. If they're more than 10 years old, let's get them replaced. Let's swap them out. Use your best judgment. If you feel like they're in good shape, you know you had a couple replaced 5 years ago, maybe we can just replace the flashing kits. They'll be good to go. Like I was saying earlier, if it's earlier than 2010, the flashing kits a lot of times don't fit the older skylights, so you can't even do that. Every Velux skylight is required to have a new flashing kit. Velux's business model, they change them up a little bit. They're in business to make money. So they do some little things with flashing kits. They change the sizes after a few years. I think so that, you know, they can continue to sell new ones rather than repairing olds. Again, I think they're a great quality company. I'm not bashing them at all. That's their business model. And when you do have an issue, boom, they're there to take care of it. So I highly recommend Velux. And again, we talked about this, can cost way more to install a one-off. You just need a single skylight replaced. It's gonna cost a lot more. That concludes our video on skylights and when they should and should not be replaced. If you're a homeowner looking for a roof repair or a contractor looking for the best materials, tune in to Anchor Point Roofing's YouTube channel. We really appreciate you watching, Chicago, and we will see you on the next one.